Hello everyone, this is chapter 20 and it is about the enamel, dentin, and pulp. So we'll get to know a little bit more about each one. Some information we already know, but some others, a little bit extra information about each one of them. So for the enamel composition, we know that the enamel is the hardest structure in the body. Okay, it's made of about 96 inorganic material, which is hydroxyapatite crystals. We should know that already. Other inorganic material, organic material, 4%. The enamel, if we look at the structure of it, it is made of two parts. We know that it's made of enamel rods, right? That's how it's made of. But we also have enamel rod sheath, technically, that lines up, so outline the rods. So the rods are made of the hydroxyapatite crystals, right? And then you have the sheath, or the sheath of the, so two parts of enamel rod and enamel sheath. As the enamel rods are being made, as they are developing, there are some, almost every 4 days there will be some kind of a different direction and delayment of the enamel rods. Anyway, that difference would make some phenomenon that we see in the enamel under the microscope, which is the stria of Ritz's. And these are just, again, change in the rod development that will show as brownish lines in the enamel, as you can see here. These are the stria of Ritz's. And this is just, again, under the microscope, you can see the enamel rod and the rod sheath areas. The other things also that we might see in the enamel are the neonatal lines, and these are lines that would appear because of disturbances of the nutrition disturbances at birth, okay, on the primary teeth. So we'll see these on the primary teeth because of the disturbances in the nutrition. Okay. Some abnormalities in the enamel. So you have hypocalcified. Hypo means less. And from the name, so the enamel is not completely calcified because of the crystals. Definitely it can be, have a decay faster than other things because it's not calcified all the way. And you can see there are white or whitish, yellowish spots. Make sure to be able to recognize this picture. Hypoplastic enamel, on the other hand, it appears yellow to grayish, to gray hue on the enamel, and then here enamel will be thin. It can be like that. It can be much smaller, like this may be a moderate. You can have some of it. It doesn't have to be like in that bad. Okay. Other things that we see in the enamel, we have the enamel lamellae, we have the enamel tuft, and we have the enamel spindle. Okay, the lamellae are hairline cracks in the enamel, so they extend from the enamel, or they can even extend from the enamel to dentin. I'll show you a picture of these. A tuft is a hypocalcified enamel. You can see it at the dentino-enamel junction, DEG. So where the dentin and the enamel meet. Extend about third way through the enamel. That's the enamel tuft. And the enamel spindle, which is technically odontoplast, which forms dentin, they get trapped in in enamel, and they can contribute to hypersensitivity. So this is a picture that shows you, so this is the enamel lamellae, enamel spindle, and enamel tuft, ET call home, and DEJ, dentino-enamel junction. Recognize this picture. These are just other pictures from the microscope. You can see all of these. Dentin. So the dentin, again, is less hard than enamel. You can see it has less inorganic component, which is hydroxyapatite crystals, so 70. 30 organic. It also made from, remember that we said the enamel is made of rods and rod sheath. This one's kind of the same, so we know that it's made of dentinal tubules, that's for sure. And they have peritubular dentin, which surrounds the dentinal tubules, like the sheath, right? So this is the tubule, this is the peritubule, And then you have the intertubule, which is technically between the tubules, like that makes the bulk of the dentin material. And peri, like we say, periapical because it's close to the apex. Same thing. Peritubular, so it surrounds the dentinal tubules, while the intertubular, it's in between the dentinal tubules, like makes the bulk of the enamel. I'm sorry, the dentin. Okay, we have different types of dentin, as we'll see. We have primary, secondary, and reparative or tertiary. Okay, primary, that's the first enamel that, the dentin that actually forms from the odontoplast as the tooth is forming, that is until it forms, until it starts erupting into the oral cavity. All of that dentin that was made, that made most of the tooth, that is the primary or the regular dentin. That's the irregular one. The secondary dentin, as the tooth erupts and start contacting the opposite tooth, so it gets to where it should be now, we will always keep having, all of our dentin is still adding small layers of dentin, but they add them to the inside, so to the inside of the pulp, and that will reduce the size of the pulp chamber. So they will keep adding into the pulp. That will reduce the pulp chamber. You can see kind of, this is a picture. This is the regular, the primary dentin, and then you have added dentin, the secondary dentin, and added more and more and more. And some people, we see some people in dental office where they actually, their pulp is completely calcified in a way, or very, very small, because again, the dentin is, as they get older, the dentin, definitely have deposited enough amount where that will make the pulp chamber smaller. Okay, so definitely new erupted teeth would have larger pulp chambers. Okay. Reparative dentin or tertiary dentin, this is the thing that actually happen, or a dentin that is deposited because of, in response to trauma, that whether it was occlusal, mechanical, or chemical, and that is just specific to the area where the trauma happens. Okay, and sometimes we put these liners like the calcium hydroxide to help with the tertiary dentin deposition. Again, this picture kind of shows you, so you can see, like, if we have trauma, some dentin might work to close that trauma with the lesion. So it's only on the area of the lesion. So the trauma can be occlusal, so a lot of more occlusal loads. Mechanical, because of when we prepare the tooth, so like we're drilling the tooth and we hit the tooth more, it can be trauma. And chemical can be by the acids from the bacteria that will make the caries, or the materials that we use to fill the tooth or to prepare the tooth. And that's why we have sometimes to put liners or bases to protect the pulp from that and the dentin. Okay. Abnormalities in dentin, we have interglobular dentin, dead tracts, and sclerotic dentin. So the interglobular dentin is areas that are poorly calcified, like when we have hypocalcified enamel, so this is the same thing. So it is poorly calcified dentin. Dead tracts, these are empty dentinal tubules because the odontoplasts are dead. Sclerotic dentin, also known as transparent dentin, and that is when the dentin is filled with dentinal material. When the dentinal tubule, is filled with dentin material. So if it's filled with dentin material, we get sclerotic dentin. It's empty, it's a dead tract. Okay. Pulp. So we know that the pulp has the blood and lymph vessels, have nerves, and have cells. The nerves in the pulp only have pain sensation, right? So they don't have like pressure or I guess like heat or cold in a way. They just feel mainly pain more than anything else. The cells that we have fibroblasts, and all of these different cells inside of and the pulp becomes smaller, as we age, or as the teeth age, because we said that there will be some deposition. Some abnormalities in the pulp. The main thing that will happen to the pulp are the pulp stones. These are the primary abnormalities. So we have true and false stones. So the true stones are rare. They're from the odontoplasts, and the false stones are most common These are some dead cells that happen that will appear as stones. So they do not affect the health of the pulp. It's just something that happened. And based on the location, you can see like this is a pulp stone and it's located inside of the pulp, so we call it free. This is a free pulp stone because it's in the middle. Attached pulp stone, they will be attached to the dentin, like it here, just close to the dentin, another circle, and embedded, it will be embedded inside of the dentin. And these are the different types of the pulp stones. Okay, and that ends our